Hi guys, so I'm going to cover running an IEP meeting. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go through introductions of everybody that is in the meeting. You're going to review the parent rights and offer the parents a packet of their parent rights. You're going to discuss the purpose of the meeting. Is it an annual IEP review, an amendment? Is it maybe a manifestation determination? Maybe there were behaviors throughout the school year they're reviewing. It could have been that the parents called and requested an IEP meeting. Present levels of student performance, where they're at, how they're doing, if they're meeting their goals, the accommodations and modifications on an IEP, discuss any type currently of any virtual learning plan, provide paper copies, how accommodations and modifications will be provided to the student virtually, review concerns, comments, questions, and the meeting close review notes of meeting and signatures. At the start of the meeting, you'll have somebody that takes the meeting notes. Sometimes it's the LEA, but all of those things are kind of outlined and presented you within the IEP meeting. And the one thing I would always encourage you to do is to continue to ask parents questions if they understand, if they have any questions after each step or process of the IEP. For instruction, the major components. Instructional leadership applies to special education teachers in the same aspect to general education teachers. It supports continuous school improvement while implementing an important knowledge base and interpersonal skills. Teaching and learning excellence is based on the interaction of teachers and students in the presence of content, according to Bateman. This is the model of instructional core, which supports the connection to learning tasks to effectively support teaching and learning. Implement a co-teaching model where gen ed teachers and sped teachers plan together and teach together, which supports inclusion for all students. For discipline, IDEA does not restrict schools from disciplining students with disabilities. Those students still have to follow the school district's and the school building's code of conduct, but there are specific procedures that are followed as part of and subsequent to such a decision. For example, a change of placement. This is when a student changes settings for more than 10 school days in a school year. On the 11th day, a manifestation determination is made to review to establish where the behavior was linked to either the disability or if the IEP was being followed. If a determination cannot be resolved due to the safety of others or the student, then a hearing officer is involved with the district and they will conduct a due process hearing. PBIS, Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, was introduced to education during the 97 IDEA reauthorization to address students' problematic behaviors in schools and as part of federal legislation to support a proactive approach to address school discipline. There are 3 different tiers. FBA is a functional behavior assessment. This identifies the function of behaviors of students that impedes the learning of themselves or other students. The results of the data from that forms the basis of the BIP, which is the Behavior Intervention Plan. This is a function-based interventions to address problem behavior or skill or performance deficits. Accountability, major components. Special education teachers' work differs from general education teachers in the area of instruction, behavioral intervention, and student assessment. Evaluating SPED teachers and their roles can differ from assessing gen ed teachers and their roles. Those roles also may vary from year to year, as well as the student population and implementation of IEPs. Professional development in service and continuing education for special education teachers should be driven towards special education practices geared towards their needs. So for school counselors, they've got to have knowledge of Section 504 and other laws regarding regulation and procedures. They work with SPED teachers to select and support counseling strategies. Sometimes in an IEP, what you will find is students have counseling minutes. That does not necessarily mean the school counselor is administering those minutes. Usually it's the special education teacher, and they collab and work together to come up with those ideas and strategies for the students. They have to have knowledge of resources outside of the school setting, which supports students with disabilities. Identify high school course options for post-secondary education options. Bateman mentioned that counselors need to support the special education team with students who have emotional or behavioral disorders through strategies that use conflict resolution, anger management, stress, communication, goals, and how to make positive choices. SPED teachers. So supporting SPED teachers. Per Bateman, professional development must be structured and driven around developing specially designed instruction and collabing with gen ed teachers. According to Bateman, SPED teachers must have time in their schedule for instruction, progress monitoring, and IEP development. Often they do not get enough time to develop rapport with and support the students on their caseload. Building administrators must support and help develop the relationship and interactions with parents of students with special needs. And this is our references.